Hello everybody and welcome back down the creek. So today we're going to be talking about active target. So I've got my active target system in and we're going to be putting it on my Tracker Pro V 175. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm going to start the install to my active target. So I got the package today. I got a really good deal, but I had to wait quite a while. So it's been a couple days since I really started this install. I got the bow unit up. So I haven't even opened the box yet. So we're going to look together. So I've got a booklet. I've got the unit. I've got the transducer and the cable, the shaft mount, and then screws, odds and ends, it looks like. Power cable, and it looks like this is actually an extension cord for this part of the transducer. So that's all there is in the box. That's everything that comes in the packet. So I've done some research. We're going to have to wire it in. We're going to have to mount the box, which I think I have a pretty good location to mount this. I'm about to make sure that it'll fit where I want it to go, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to check the fitment. I'm going to check the hardware. I'm going to run the wires, and we're going to get this installed. So you can kind of see where I want it to go. It's down deep in the belly of the beast there. It doesn't quite fit. So there's 4 screws in that battery box. I'm going to shift it just far enough so I can make it fit. So I'm going to get my tools and do that. Okay, I'm going to kind of give you a look. It's really tight down here, so there's not a lot of room to film. But as you can see, I got to do some vacuuming down there. But pretty much I moved the battery box back just about maybe an inch, so that'll fit. So now I'm going to screw that box down to the deck of the boat. So give me a second to do that. Okay, so I just opened up the pack here, and it comes with these stainless steel screws like this. Cool, but I do not want to drill holes down there. So I have stainless steel self-tappers, and we're going to use a stainless steel. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Self-tapper. So that's what we're going to use. I'm trying to decide what size I want to use. Because it's the bottom of the boat, I want to use as small as possible. I think that's the ticket. So I'm going to use 4 of these stainless steel self-tappers to screw that thing in so that I don't have to drill. It also came with an inline fuse, but because I put a fuse panel in this boat, I'm just going to put the 5 amp fuse in the fuse that I use to wire it in. So I'm going to get this screwed in real quick. I'll be right back. It is screwed in. So I got it screwed in there. So now we need to pull wires from up there to down there. I'm going to get set up. Okay, so I'm up on the bow and I need to pull wires now. I need to pull 3 wires. I need to pull a transducer wire, I need to pull a power wire, and I need to pull an Ethernet wire. In my hand currently is the power wire. This end is the open wires. The end I'm feeding through to the unit is the plug-in end. But I also need to feed an Ethernet cable. And these are exactly the same on both sides. So I'm just kind of going to untangle this because I want it to pull through straight. Right? So we're going to pull this through. I'm going to pull this through. And I also need to pull through this transducer cable. So I need to figure out which end. Okay, so this hooks together. So my guess is this end is going to go to the unit. So because I'm pulling these three, I'm going to pull them all together. So to do that, I need the three ends that I'm going to pull. Like so. Right? We're going to try and feed them together. And then I have, on this end, I pulled through a chase wire in the video that I ran the fuse panel in. So if you haven't seen that part and you want to see that part, go check out my other videos and I'll put a tag for it here. But essentially I'm going to tag these three wires together and I'm going to pull them through. So I'm going to make kind of like a loop, like a clinch knot. And then I'm going to make kind of like a knot that the harder you pull, the tighter it gets. I'm going to put that over these. And I'm going to cinch it up. I'm probably going to get some electrical tape and wrap it around there for good measure. But because I don't like chasing wires and it's incredibly difficult to fish this boat, well, fish wires that is, I have this here that I'm also going to attach to the end that I'm fishing with the same concept. I'm going to make a loop, then make a double loop. This is actually how I tie my sinkers to my line. I'm going to put that on there, like so. Now I'm going to get some electrical tape, wrap around this for good measure, and then I'm going to feed these lines up into that cubby hole. Alright, so basically all I'm going to do is take the ends that I'm fishing, and I'm just going to wrap them up real good to protect the ends and make it real easy to pull through. And then I'll rip a tag off, fold it, and stick it. So this is going to pull through. Alright, so I'm going to fish that back and forth until I get it to go through. I'll be right back. And this is the power to the fish finder. I got a negative and a red, and then it has this yellow wire. The yellow wire is the wake-up wire that goes to the unit. So now I have the power unit for this. I need the wire, so the blue isn't used, so I'm going to cut the blue off because the blue isn't used. So I need to connect red to power, black to ground, and then I need to connect the yellows together. That's the proper way to wire it. Now I do have a switch if I choose to add on to it later and change the wiring, but I'm going to wire it up the proper way to get started just because I want to try it that way first. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do this while I film. So I'm going to put on some butt connectors that look like that. And I'm going to get this rigged into the fuse box. Okay, so what I did is I hooked up the power, the ground, and I connected the, let me see if I get the wake-up wire together from over here. So that should do it. So I should have power to the unit. Now we're going to go down to the unit and I'm going to plug in all the buttons there. Okay. That's dark. But I got my wires hooked up down in there. I got my power hooked up over there. I'm going to drop a fuse in there and test it. see if the power comes on. Okay. So I had to tweak a little bit of wiring to get it to reach, to get everything back together. But I got the wires plugged in to the unit down under the boat, the actual computer part. I've got the fish finder here. I've got the power hooked up. I put a fuse in it. Now I've got this Ethernet cable, and I have this sonar cable end. So I'm going to untangle it. So the Ethernet cable is going to go back into the back of the fish finder. Bang. So now the Ethernet's hooked up. I'm just going to run the access down into the bottom of the boat. And then I have the extension end and the regular end. So that's all there is to it. So I'm going to fire this puppy up and see if it works. This has not been the easiest part of the video to film because most of what I've done on this has been down in the bottom of the boat. Alright, so when I power this on, let's see if it realizes that it's hooked up to sonar. I've got the power hooked up, I've got the transducer hooked up, I've got the Ethernet hooked up, I've got the fish finder turned on. So that's everything. It should work. We're going to accept. Bang. Well, it certainly didn't pick it up that it was on. I'm going to check and see if there's power on the unit. Oh! Active target features have been enabled. Okay. Active target. Oh, it's reading that it's there. I think it's working. Let's go check and make sure all the lights are on. Oh yeah, she's working. Definitely on. Okay, so it's working down in the bottom. I got in here. It's telling me there's software updates available that I need to connect to the internet. So we're going to connect to the internet. We're going to update this. And then I'm going to put all the boat back together. And then the next video, I'm going to show you how I actually mount the deucer. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I got really tired and it was late, so I wrapped it up. So I'm going to be moving on to the next steps. But as you can see, I got a whole mess going in this thing. And I have a bunch of stuff to do. So we're going to start putting some things back together. So now that the main thing's installed, like the box, the wires are run, I don't really need to be underneath the console anymore, and I don't need to be in the battery compartment. So I'm going to vacuum out the battery compartment, clean up anything in there, and I'm going to drop this battery back in first. And then after that, I'm going to put underneath the steering console back together. But you know, basically that's the next step. Now I still have to mount the transducer to something, right? So it comes with a mounting bracket, but I have XI5, which is like an electric drive, and I don't really like the way that that works. So I'm thinking I'm going to go transducer pole. So the next video is going to be the installation of the transducer. So I'm going to do something different. So that video will be next. So make sure you check for that. If you're starting in this video right away, then you know it'll be a week from now. So anyway, back to work. So I'm going to get prepped up here, and we're going to put the batteries back in. I have 2 batteries in this boat. It's a 12-volt system, but I wired them together to have bigger capacity. So after this message, we're going to do batteries. Hi guys, we're going to take a pause from today's video and talk about one of the 3 certainties in life. If you're an outdoorsman like me, you know that the 3 certainties in life are death, taxes, and this hobby is expensive. I try and save money any way I can, and one of the ways that I save money is the Upside app. I use it to get cash back on fuel purchases that I'm going to make anyway, and it's really simple and easy to use. If you take a look at this screenshot that I just threw up, you can see that I earn real money, right? I've actually earned real money, and it's really simple to use. All I have to do is open the app, select the fuel station that I want to use, link a card that I'm going to use to fuel up, use that card and fuel, and then claim my rebate. After that, Upside does all the work. They go get your cash rebate and load it back onto your account where you can cash it in and redeem it for either cash back to your card or gift cards that they list below. If you haven't used it, if you don't use Upside to save money, then you're crazy. So follow the link below or download the Upside app and use my code, and we'll be able to both save a little bit of extra money on that first purchase. So thanks for watching, guys, and let's get back into the action here. Okay, so I got one battery here, a couple of screws. I cleaned out the battery compartment, and I have a battery here. So the way this works is I'm going to clip this battery in. You can see the clip there. This one's really not disconnected. The red terminal there, the positive terminal, has the red connection wire. It's just a runner to the other battery, and it has the red positive charging cable lead from the battery tender, and then a negative jump wire to get to the other battery. When I drop the other battery in here, I'll connect the red, the positive to positive, the negative to negative, and then the negative battery charging terminal to the other battery on the negative side to complete the charge circuit. So it will charge two batteries on one. So I'm going to get that dropped in and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so battery's back in there. It's all hooked up. This is hooked up and strapped back in. So I can kind of close this. Bang. Come up out of the little compartment there that I was kind of sitting in. Alright, so there's the floor. So the next step. Okay guys, so got the batteries. The battery's back in. The other battery's under here. So the next step is under here. And that's the panel. So I'm going to get set up to put that back in. Okay guys, so we're down here under the console. So I got to get all this stuff kind of pushed back up here. It's been kind of settling. Alright, and just basically, I also checked to make sure my onboard battery charger was working. That charges the trolling motor batteries, which we just put back together. I wanted to make sure that was hooked up right. Plus the starting battery. So the trolling motor batteries are still full, of course, because we didn't really do anything with them. But the cranking battery is pretty low with being unplugged for so long. So I'm glad I got this done today. But we're going to put this panel back on. There it goes. There it goes. So that's in a screw hole there. That's in a hole there. So these are square drive. So we're gonna shoot these in. That goes in. So now this is back together. And I'm gonna finish straightening some other things up here. So let me set up and then we'll talk. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end it here. I mean, we got the main unit installed. We ran all the wires and did everything. All I really have to do is a transducer, and I want to install that on a transducer pole. So I'm going to do that as its own video. So really all that's left today is I'm going to be kind of picking up some of my tools and putting things away and prepping to do that next install on the bow. So thanks for watching to the end, guys. I hope you got some value out of this. This one was very hard to film because everything was done in the bowels of the boat. But, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. Find a good mounting spot, throw some screws in, pull some wires through, and then wire it up, right? And the wiring was pretty simple. You had 4 wires a red, a black, a yellow, and a blue. The blue isn't used, which it tells you in your owner's manual or in your installation manual that the blue isn't used. And then you connect the red to power, the black to ground, and the yellow is the wake-up wire. So the yellow connects to the fish finder itself. I've seen them use an accessory switch for this to wire that up, but I didn't do that in this case. I do have an accessory switch that I can put on later. I did purchase one because I didn't know which way I was going to go, but I'm going to roll with this for a while and see how it goes. So thanks again for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Get out there and live, and we'll see you next time here and on the creek.